Hello, everyone, and happy Financially Lit Tuesday. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me, everyone. We are back every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m., bringing you news, tips, and tricks on how to wealth up. So today is definitely a great day, awesome day. I have a special guest for you all. We have an amazing topic. We're going to be going over the 7 ways to boost your credit score. So this is something that's important to everyone, right? Because money is important. So we're going to make sure that we tackle this today. So for those of you that are tuned in, go ahead and hit the share button, because we want to make sure that your friends and family have this information at their disposal as well. So you don't want to, keep all the wealth to yourself. Definitely spread the news. So hit the share button. And for those of you tuning in from YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe and share, notification bell on YouTube, on the Sipping Wealth YouTube channel. All right. So our special guest today is an amazing person. She's one of Grandma's partners. She has an organization called Ariel Consulting. And she's going to go ahead and bless us with her presence today and drop some heavy gems. Like I said, go ahead and hit that share button. Okay, y'all, because it's going down. Yes. Hey,
Brianna. Hey, how are you guys?
Hey, so Breanna, I gave them a little bit about you. So Breanna is a credit specialist and a business coach, but I'm gonna also give her some time to let y'all know what exactly she does and how she helps.
Awesome. So my name is Breanna. I'm the CEO of Ariel Consulting Services, LLC. I assist individuals and small business owners with credit coaching by providing the foundation of credit and basically to help them leverage their wealth.
Awesome, cool. So you all, for those of you after this live, or even now, if you want to go ahead and head over to Breanna's page or her website, it's arielconsulting.com, and you can book a consultation if you like, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get up in the topic. So we know that Breanna is a credit specialist. Of course, I'm in the financial industry, but I wanted to make sure that I bring a specialist on the scene so that you all have it from what they say, the horse's mouth, right? That's what they say. So y'all get it directly from the horse's mouth. All right. So for those of you that are wondering, what exactly is this credit score thing? Of course, you know that, hey, I need to keep my credit score up. I need to make sure that I have it available so that I look good to lenders, or whatever case may be. So you do have those different types of credit score. You have your FICO score, which everyone's familiar with, right? All the banks use. It's the gold standard. It's the algorithm that's going to tell these banks and lenders, hey, is this person worthy of this amount of funding or not? Right. Like, are we going to do that? And then we have the Vantage score, which is another algorithm as well. But like I said, the FICO score is something that's widely used and that you're going to see more likely than none. So for 2020, big ups to Americans, because in 2020, the FICO score, the average FICO score was 711. Like, Breanna, how does that sound? Like, for a 711 FICO score for 2020?
That sounds about right. I'm not surprised. So definitely that is the average, the average score for Americans. It's been that it's been around that range of 711 for the last couple of years. So I'm not surprised for it to be at that range there.
That's awesome. So so for some statistics, I'm going to drop some statistics to y'all, and then we're going to get into these stats. So for stats, actually 21%, almost 22% of Americans have exceptional credit score, which is really good. So that's over a 750, in the 800 range. That is almost 22% of Americans. Mm-hmm. And then you have those 1.2% that have a perfect credit score, which is an 850. I know those people are like, yo, how do I get to 800? Shoot, how do I get to 700? Something, right? Like, how do I get there? I know everyone's like kind of wondering, like, how do I do that? But the statistics are looking pretty good. So millennials, the average score for millennials is a 634. Generation X is a 655, and then our Generation Zs are 631. So it's kind of a range in here. But overall in America, we're doing pretty well for ourselves. So we're gonna go ahead and tackle it. We're gonna break down these tips and tricks. So like I said, go ahead and hit the share button because we're gonna get down into these steps. For those of you tuned in, go ahead and drop a comment. I want to know who's tuned in with us today. Go ahead and let us know, like, who's tuned in with us. And yes, I'm gonna go ahead and give the floor to Breanna.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. So just to start, just to give you guys the basic foundation of credit, as you know, the first factor of credit is payment history, which is about 35% of your credit scores. And that basically making on-time payment is key as far as when it comes to credit. The next factor that we're going to look over is balance, or basically how much you owe on your credit cards, your credit utilization. That's about 30% of your credit score. You want to make sure that you're keeping your balances on your card at a certain, keeping it under the 30%.
What I heard, Breanna, when it comes to balances owed, I heard under 10% is actually the way to go.
Yes,
right.
10% will give you an extra boost. Absolutely. Ideally 30%. Now, if you're looking to boost up your credit, you want to be under the 10%, definitely. So yeah, you're absolutely.
You hear that? That is not good enough. Okay, I want to be under 10%.
All right, now
we have Regina. Hey, Regina, how's it going?
All right. So now the next thing is going to be the length of your credit history, which is basically how long you've been building credit. The longer you've been building your credit, the better it looks. It makes you look more creditworthy, and that's 15% of your score. And the next thing is basically inquiries, which is 10% of your scores. You only want to apply for credit when you actually need it. Okay. The next factor, the last factor we'll go over is the credit mix, which is basically the mixture of credit that you have, and that's 10% of your scores. Now, I know you guys are waiting for the tips. I just wanted to go over the basic foundation of what actually builds your score up. So let's go ahead and get into the tips here, okay? So the first tip here is pay your bills on time. There's no other thing that I can tell you when it comes to at least building your score up. The key thing is going to be making sure you can make your payment on time. If you can't make your payment on time, the best thing I would suggest is to set up automatic payments. That'll ensure that at least on the minimum payment, that'll ensure that you're not at least getting that late fee. You're not at least missing your payment on that statement for that month. As you know, late payment can last on your credit report for 7 years. So you definitely want to avoid making a late payment. Call your creditor and tell them what's going on. See if they can set up a payment arrangement, and even try to talk them into not reporting that late payment because you know you're going to be late. So there's no guarantee that it may happen if you don't ask. All right, so that's going to be the first.
Hey, Toya, I want to say hi to her. How's it going?
How are you? All right. So the next tip I want to give here is to dispute your credit report errors. Review your credit reports. Believe it or not, 79% of credit report contains errors. And you can literally go ahead and dispute these errors with the credit bureaus. Typically, it takes 30 days for them to respond back to your dispute that you put in with them. The common credit report errors that you can review would be like inaccurate information, such as addresses, outdated information as well. So like your name, your social, but employer information they may have on there. You want to look at that. Also your account statuses. One more other thing that I want to say is like account balances. You want to look at those different things. And even if they're reporting a duplicate account, you want to also try to dispute that error as well to help increase your credit score. Now, the next tip I wanted to go over, which is the third tip, is to get a credit card.
Hold on, let's slow down just a little bit so that we can make sure that they're getting it. So for step number one, for those of you that are tuned in, We have a bill. Make sure that you're paying your bills on time. So I know that it could get a little hard out there sometimes, but like Breanna said, you definitely want to make sure that you're communicating with whoever the creditor is and ask for an extension. The worst thing that you could do is ignore their calls because it's just going to hurt you in the end. Same thing when it comes to the IRS, things like that. People, you run away and you don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. So you don't pick up. So you definitely want to make sure that you're in communication with these people. So that's that first tip, is to make sure you're paying their bills on time. And then, like she said, dispute any errors. So make sure that you're on top of your credit. Take a look at it. Once a year is not enough. Right. I know, like all these commercials, freecreditreport.com, but all the other stuff, you have those different commercials. You have those, even your credit card companies. A lot of them allow you to monitor your credit within their portals. Right. So you definitely want to look at them more than just annually, so you can be on top of those errors, dispute any errors that you may have, and talk to whoever the creditors are.
Right. Definitely. A lot of times people aren't aware that there are any errors on their credit report until they actually review it. So the first thing you want to actually do when you're trying to repair your credit or improve your credit is to review your credit to see what different opportunities that you can work on as far as your credit reports.
Absolutely.
All right. So the next tip, are you guys ready for the next tip?
Y'all ready out there? I don't know. Y'all sleep? Is this a lot? Or y'all, is we feeling okay? Is everybody like, okay, we get it? Okay. Y'all ready to boost your scores? All right, let's go. Right.
So the next tip I would recommend is to get a credit card. An unsecured credit card ideally is the best credit card to go with if you have at least good credit, or a fair credit, I should say. If your credit
is an unsecured card?
An unsecured card is a card that basically does not require a security deposit for you to get the card. A secured card typically is for someone that doesn't have any credit, that's trying to build credit. If you're not able to get approved for unsecured card, secured card may be the best route for you to go, which will just require you to put a deposit down. And based on your deposit amount, that will determine your credit limit on that card. Typically, after a certain amount of months of using the secured card, what would happen is they would go ahead and refund the deposit on that card. And then depending on which bank you open up that secured card, they will convert it to an unsecured card. Some other banks will just close out the account. So it all depends on which bank you open up the account with. A few suggestions that I would recommend is Discover, Capital One, Wells Fargo. They do all offer secured credit card, even though Wells Fargo still do
right now.
They're closing out their line of credit. Okay, right. So different from their credit card, so you could still apply for a credit card for them. Lines of credit are based.
Love the tips. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for tuning in, Trey.
No problem at all. Okay. Lines of credit basically does not come with a credit card. That's the big difference between the two. So I know that was a big confusion last week when they're closing down personal lines of credit lines. So that's the main thing. Their credit cards are still pretty good. I have a couple of their credit cards, so there's nothing wrong with their credit cards. Their line of credit, unfortunately, there are a lot of people that may be impacted by those accounts once they do close down. Absolutely. So we're going to continue to move forward.
Very good. So for those of you, just to go over that, get a credit card, Breanna just went over the difference between the unsecured and secured card. So really the difference is, hey, on a secured card, maybe they will require you to put at least $500. And then you're essentially using that $500 as your line of credit so that they can see, okay, they're able to manage, their $500. So let's go ahead and give them our money now. So because we've seen that they know how to manage their own money. So they don't want to put their money on the line just yet. And that's what the secured card is.
Absolutely. All right. And the main thing you want to do with the credit card is just use it responsibly and make your payments on time. And if you do that, over time, your score will improve. Now, the next thing that I would recommend is if you're someone that already has plenty of credit cards and you're still looking for a way to improve your score, is to request a credit limit. Request a credit limit increase by contacting your bank directly. When you contact them directly and put in that request, you can avoid a hard inquiry as well. And what happens is when they do approve that credit limit increase, it increases your overall credit limit and it decrease your credit utilization. So if as long as your balance stays the same, it'll decrease your credit utilization. So at least giving you, increasing your credit score as well. So just request the credit limit and you'll see the improvements over time as long as you don't have a high balance. And yeah.
And a lot of times with the credit cards and you requesting an increase, like if they see that you keep maxing out the card, they're like, I don't know, you don't know how to manage this money we've given you. And you've maxed out our card, so why are we going to give you even more money? So you definitely want to make sure that you're utilizing, you're not maxing out your cards. So like we went over before, keep that utilization under 30%.
Right.
And if you can, under 10%.
Exactly.
And then requesting a higher limit. I do that like every 6 months. I'm like, oh, it's about that time of the year.
Yep.
Let me go ahead and call out my creditors and increase it. And it's not because I use those line of credits, but it's because I want to make sure that I'm increasing my credit score. Right. By, every time I do it, maybe it increases by a couple of points. But for each card, if I do that, now my total line of credit went from 30,000 to 45,000. So just to give you an example.
Yep. And believe it or not, if you're using your card responsibly, they will.
That's like clockwork. Yep, exactly.
Honestly, and if you're using your card responsibly, you won't even have to call in and give them a request. They will automatically send you a letter saying, hey, we increased your credit limit. So use the way that you're supposed to use it responsibly, and you're going to see those increases over time. Okay. That was it for that tip there. Now, the next tip I would say is to become an authorized user. Now, if you don't have really a strong credit profile and you have a family, friend, or relative that you trust that have a strong credit profile that's used their cards responsibly, ask them to get on their account to help boost up your score. Now, this is also, keep in mind, a temporary fix, because once they do remove you off that card, it can bring your score back down to where you were at previously. So the main thing you want to do is once you get that on that account is try to open up your own accounts and then use those accounts responsibly, because authorized user accounts do not hold the same weight as primary trade lines. So ideally you want to try to get accounts in your name, but if you can't, the best way to do it is try to get on an account as an authorized user by looking for a friend or family member that you can trust.
Also, don't go around harassing your family members. But if you do have those that love you for real, you can go ahead and harass them. But it is a great tool to use. But yeah, like make sure that whatever you're applying for, you do it within the time frame that you have as an authorized user on that person's card. So if you're trying to get a new line of credit or maybe purchase a house, whatever the case may be, go ahead and do it within that time window so that you can have some trade lines directly, primary trade lines.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, the next tip that I want to go over here is to avoid closing your accounts, especially credit card accounts. When you close out your credit card account, depending on how long that account has been open and as well how the credit limit on that card, it can impact your credit score severely when you close out that card. Reason being is because what happens is if that card's been open for 6 years and you happen to close it out, now you're losing that history of that credit history that you have on that card for 6 years. Mm-hmm. And then if you just open up a new credit card, they're only going to go based off of that new account that you have. It's not going to look like you've been building credit for 6+ years. So you want to avoid closing out any credit cards that you had open, unless it's something that, it's probably a fairly new credit card or, you know what I mean? But I would recommend keeping any cards, use it occasionally, because you don't want to say, you know what, I'm going to keep the card, but I'm not going to use it. Because what happens if you keep the card and you stop using it, it becomes a doormat account. And what happens is the creditor may close it out as well. And you don't want that to happen. Regardless of the thing, do not close out your account. Try to keep them open and use it occasionally just to keep it active.
That's not to say go on a shopping spree because you don't want your credit card account to close. All right, just hold on now. Just go to the corner store or get gas one time on the card. Maybe you get gas once a month or not once a month, twice a month on the credit card or on different credit cards, and you pay it off immediately so that you can make sure that that line of credit stays open and active. That doesn't mean, swipe all over the place. It just means use it responsibly because at the end of the day, it can be a tool to help you build your credit. Absolutely. And you can use it that way.
Yep. All right. And then the last tip I would want to go over is to mix it up, your credit mix. It's very important to at least have a mixture of credit. And what I mean by a mixture of credit, I mean having both installment and revolving accounts to help your credit worthiness. And just to give you a little bit more details between the two different types of accounts. Installment accounts are like personal loans, student loan, mortgage loans, auto loans. Revolving accounts are like credit cards, retail cards, things like that. You want to have a mixture of cards. You want to have a mixture of accounts, I should say. If you just have credit cards, that may be something that's impacting you because you're not actually trying to apply for other types of credit. That helps out your credit worthiness a lot by having different types of mixtures of credit. So if you don't have, say if you have a credit card, but you don't have a loan, looking into getting a loan to help build your score up a little bit longer. If you have loans and you don't have credit cards, get credit cards. So I'm guaranteeing you that credit cards are impacting you a lot by not having it. So you want to make sure that you have a mixture of credit. Don't be afraid to have that mixture of credit as well, because it's only going to be beneficial for you over time.
Yes. So go over those steps. And of course, this is available on the Sipping Wealth YouTube channel. So we have our 7 steps. Make sure that you're paying your bills on time. Y'all pay your bills on time. Don't have people harass you. Number 2 is make sure that you're disputing any credit or errors. So anything on your credit report that's an error, go ahead and make sure you dispute it. It happens all the time. So make sure you're checking that report more than once a year. Number 3, get a credit card. So some people are super afraid of getting credit cards because they don't want to get into debt. You don't even have to hold on to the credit card. You can, they have, you see it in the movies where they freeze, they put the credit card in the freezer and then it is like a big block of ice. I've seen it in a couple of movies. It's funny. But, leave it at home. I know, I leave my cards at home. So I only grab them if I need to use it.
Right.
Or I will have 2 cards on me I'll have a credit card and a debit card or whatever the case may be. Because sometimes I'm not carrying a purse. Number 4 is request for a higher credit limit, which is, I love using this thing. I call all the time. They hello, it's about that time. Y'all know y'all got to give me a credit increase. So make sure that you're utilizing that. Just go ahead and give them a call. Number 5, become an authorized user. You don't have to purchase, random people's trade lines and things like that. You can use someone in your network. Use a friend, a family member. Go ahead and ask them, hey, can you put me as an authorized user? You don't have to have a card for their account. You could just be an authorized user. Number 6 is to make sure that you keep your line of credits open. You don't want to close out accounts because it will hurt your score. It will. They don't care. They're like, oh, that closed. All right, bye. Bye to your points that you build up for so long. So definitely want to make sure that you're not closing any line of credits unless you're done paying off your car or you're done paying off your mortgage. Things like that. They have to close. But if it's a credit card, go ahead and keep it open. You don't have to use it like that. Just use it every once in a while. Right. Number 7, mix it up. Make sure you have different trade lines, different line of credits, credit card, revolving is credit card. Installment. You got it. Installment loans, whatever the case may be. Different types of line of credits that you can have. Diversify your credits. So those are the 7 steps, y'all. Do y'all have any questions? Go ahead and drop it in the comment section. Kay said, I was told not to request for a higher amount because it'll bring it down by who?
Yeah. Why would this Definitely not. The only time like I said, if your balance does not increase and if you do not increase your balance, request a credit limit, it should only decrease your credit utilization and increase your credit limit. So that means overall it increased your score as well. Because now it looks like you have more buying power, or at least credit power, should I say.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. If you're at a point where like your cards are maxed out or you have a high utilization, request a credit limit increase. I guarantee you it's going to bring down your credit utilization.
Yeah. I haven't seen it where it brings it down. Kay said people. Oh, I don't know who people are, but people be I don't know where they get the information from. But that's why we also make sure that we do these lives every week. Because all the information that we present on this live is researched information. This is not hearsay. So this is all research information. I brought in a specialist. She does this, right? She's not new to this. She's true to this. But she's not new to it as well. So where I'm experiencing credit, but this is not my specialty. Kay said they told me it will bring down my score. Yeah.
I don't know why they give you that information. If you're opening up a new account, absolutely. Opening up a new account can bring down your score. But if it's an account that you already have open, it shouldn't impact your score. Because what it does, it increase your credit limit, or increase your credit limit. Because if you're getting a credit limit increase, it's increasing your credit limit and decreasing your credit utilization, as long as you're not increasing the balance overall on your credit card.
So as long as you're not at the store at the same time, you're asking for the credit increase. Like, hey, can I get an increase because I need to buy something for an extra $2,000? She said, instead, I was going to apply for a personal loan just because I want to buy a home next year.
Yeah, if you have a credit card, I would recommend contacting your credit card company directly and request a credit limit increase with them. If you're worried about, getting an inquiry, because that's the only thing that may possibly happen, a soft inquiry that they may do on your credit report, just to make sure everything is still up to date. But other than that, it should not bring down your score. I would definitely recommend contacting your bank directly and apply for a credit limit increase.
Do you recommend her doing this personal loan?
So it all depends it all depends on where she's at as far as at this moment, as far as her home buying process. I know she said next year. I don't want to say yes because I'm not looking at her credit reports. I don't know what she currently have on her credit reports. She can definitely apply for things, but I know once you're in that process of purchasing your home, you want to avoid applying for any new accounts.
Because they may ask for you to pay all that off before you get in. Get the home. She said, can you request for a APR decrease?
Yes, you can definitely contact your bank and request a decrease. Now, if they will give it to you, that's totally up to them.
Yeah, and they like to do this thing where because I do that on some of my newer cards when I was just getting credit cards and stuff in college, because those credit APRs are like 19-20%. They're ridiculous. So what they do is like, okay, we'll drop it to 10% for 5 months, and then you have to call us back in 5 months, and then we'll see, basically where we're at, and if you can get another one, another decrease. But sometimes they have like periods to drop it off for. But just ask, like, when in doubt, go ahead and give them a call. And then if you don't like that representative on the phone, call them again.
Hang up and call again. Seriously.
She said the APR is too high when I got it years ago before I became a homeowner. Yeah, call them.
Yeah, call them and request for them to change it. They may tell you no, like they say, don't give up. And they do changes every year, so they may also update it for you. You may get us a letter in the mail saying, hey, we brought down your interest rate. How to negotiate a lower rate on a credit card or other loans. Well, like, it all depends. I would say the only way that it depends on your credit score. If you have a solid credit score, you have a better chance of getting a better APR as far as it. Because a lot of times the credit application already come with an ideal of like where your APR range would be. So it's all depends on your credit score. You can't really negotiate those in the beginning. I would say it all depends on your credit score.
All right. Kay said, that's what I want. LOL. She said 19%. Damn, yeah.
Yeah,
They out
definitely.
here robbing people.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
robbing people, Kay. Like, she said, LOL. Yeah, it's
That's
definitely wild out here. But yeah, at the end of the day, do what's in your best interest. Call them, talk to whoever you need to talk to, escalate the call back. Sometimes you have to be that way in order to get what you're ultimately wanting.
right.
It's a process. Breanna specializes in this, so if you could, we're at 7:00. So what we're gonna what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and close out this live. Thank you for everyone being tuned in to this episode of Financially Lit Tuesday. We're back every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. and streaming on the Lit TV network at 6 o'clock. For those of you wanting to reach out to Breanna Belizarie at Ariel Consulting, go ahead and head over to her website. It will be dropped in the comment section of this live, so you can go ahead and head over to her website. And if you need any assistance, if you want somebody to hound the credit card companies for you, she's a girl to get you results. Make sure that you go ahead and contact her. We will be going live again shortly to answer any further questions that you all may have. So stay tuned and just in a few minutes, we'll go ahead and go live again. All right. Thank you, Breanna.
Thank you. Bye.